done a live in a little bit here, and I've been busy getting these prints done. No more drawing on pieces of paper. I know this is backwards, but I'm gonna flip this camera back around whenever I go through some of these slides here. And yeah, I wanted to show you folks more on how these Thoth the Jed pillars work here. And I didn't plan this. I just literally hit the go live button, and I'm just gonna wing this thing as we go. So yeah, let's just get right to it. Got nobody on here. It's minute 19. And let's see here. My name's Paul, and I channeled the Thoth the Jed pillars on 5/19. On 8/8 of 2022. Thoth is the god of wisdom from the planet, or from ancient Egypt, from Atlantis. He's the one that created the languages and mathematics during those periods. I was reading the Emerald Tablets and studying them meticulously for over a year, listening to the audiobook, and one day I just decided I'd been questioning the Lords of the Nine. What are these Lords of the Nine? And basically, let's see. We have the 3, the 4, the 5, the 6, the 7, the 8, and the 9. The Lords of the Nine. So whenever I was reading the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, I was like, what are these Lords of the Nine? Why is he calling them 9 when there's only 7 of them? The 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 3 to 9 is 7. So I just had all these questions in my mind, and I ended up learning about chaos magic and sigils, and I'm like, what if Thoth's name is a sigil? And I took apart the word Thoth, Thoth, and I ended up with 5 sets of 11s. And if you look at the 11, that's the electromagnetic force. If that's a positive and a negative, and that's a negative and a positive, if you were to flip that forward, you would get positive and negative electromagnetic frequency here. And 528 hertz, that's the precise center of the electromagnetic color spectrum. And we ended up winding up here at the solar plexus chakra. This is basically Thoth's name taken apart as a sigil showing the halls of Amenti. So these magnets, positive, negative, negative, positive, if I were to throw metal shards at these magnets, the shards would create the shape of this Kundalini spiral snake. So he's basically showing us our Kundalini. And for the 11th Fibonacci to be 55, and 5 times 11, or 11 times 5 equals 55, the 11th Fibonacci. 55 is the 11th Fibonacci, and then when we bring in the number of broken space-time symmetry, the golden angle, 137.5 times 8, that could be your first fundamental, your second harmonic, 2 sound waves, or your DNA sigil, 137.5. Photon absorption, the golden angle, the number that's manifest in spirals of pine cones and sunflowers, equals 110 hertz. Drop the 0, there's your electromagnetic frequency that's Thoth taken apart. You can even write his name with +1, -1, 0, +1, -1. And if you drop the positive and the negative sign and the 0, you're left with the halls of Amenti once again. So In doing that, I mirrored the 3, the 4, the 5, the 6, 7, 8, 9, Lords of the Nine, and I lined them up with the 9 solfeggial tones, and I only wrote 2 of these here for some reason. Got the wrong one printed out. I had the one with all of the solfeggial tones here. So 396 hertz lines up with 33, 417 hertz lines up with 44, 528 hertz, the precise center of the electromagnetic color spectrum, lines up with 55. So to have channeled the 181 symbol on 519, 2 months and 20 days, 2 months and 28 days before I channeled the thought to Jed Pillar, 181 days equals 5 months and 28 days. 528 hertz is the precise center of the electromagnetic color spectrum connected to the sound system. The gematria for photon equals 528. We absorb photons, ions, electrons, and we turn them into our own plasma through oxidative phosphorylation in our solar plexus at 55, lining up with 528 hertz. The 55th octave above sound is light. The date that lines up with 5/5 is 126 days on leap year. 550 weeks equals 126 months, exposing the fractals of space-time. So for the 55th octave above sound to be light and 528 hertz to line up with 550 hertz, and 528 hertz, that's the precise center of the electromagnetic color spectrum. 528 hertz being the gematria for photon. Photon is the smallest possible particle of light that represents the entire spectrum of electromagnetic radiation. So it's something to think about. This is the calendar system connected to the thought to Jed Pillar, but let me show you folks how I built this, because I've done tons of lives already on this on my Instagram and not on this with these updated prints that I've got. So the 3, the 4, the 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, we're lining up with the 9 solfeggial tones, right? 396 hertz lines up with 33 hertz, and 963 hertz lines up with 99 hertz. And when we add the number of broken space-time symmetry, photon absorption, the golden angle, golden angle, 137.5 times 8 equals 110 hertz, 220 hertz, 330 hertz. These are all harmonics of 440 hertz in the second octave. Let me find this piece of paper here. This is your golden angle, your number of broken space-time symmetry. It's literally a photon absorbing into an eyeball, if you could imagine that. And these are your harmonics: 110 hertz, 220, 330, 440, 550, going all the way up to 1320 and 1210, like your thought to Jed Pillar. 1210 and 110 hertz, 220, 330, 440, 550, 660, 770. These are all harmonics of music. So we're building this with number of broken space-time symmetry and photon absorption and harmonics. And when we overlap the mandalas of each frequency of these chakra systems here, overlapping them, you can see that, like, that's the head, those are the shoulders, that's the body, the torso, and you can literally see the human body if you use your imagination there a little bit. So when I did this, Thoth ended up being the crown 1111. I just dropped the positive and the negative sign on the 0 and got the 1111. So I kept this going in increments of 11. 33 plus 11 equals 44 plus 11 equals 55. So I was counting in increments of 11. 11 plus 11 equals 1122. And I line that up here at the third eye audio, auxiliary in, auxiliary out. So we have the torus. And see the horns, just like an ox. This is where your hypothalamus chamber is releasing, or oxytocin is stimulating your nitric oxide whenever you're doing your breath work through your nostrils and humming, and that's released through your endothelium, the inner lining of your heart. And nitric oxide, your body can stock up on that just by being out in the sun, absorbing vitamin D, sun rays, and photons. So yeah, 1111 plus 11 equals 1122, lined up with the third eye audio, auxiliary in. 1122 plus 11 equals 1133. And we're using those increments of 11 for a reason, because this is the electromagnetic force. 11 days. Where is that shit? It's not on this one. Hold on. Just want you guys to have the visual on this. Yeah, 181 days equals 5 months and 28 days, like 520 hertz, the precise center of the electromagnetic color spectrum. This is the electromagnetic force, right? L, Evan, L, electromagnetic force, electromagnetic color spectrum, L, Evan. You guys getting this yet? 11 days equals 3.01% of a year, when 181 minutes equals 3.0 or 301 in time. Watch this shit. So whenever you flip this electromagnetic symbol on its side, it is the 181. It equals 181. That's a holographic image of a photon. Your 11th Fibonacci is 55. The 55th octave above sound is light. So building this digit pillar, we're counting it in increments of 11. 11, 11 plus 11 equals 1122, plus 11 equals 1133, plus 11 equals 1144, plus 11 equals 1155, plus 11 equals 1166, plus 11 equals 1177. Now we're down here at the root chakra. This lines up with the sacrum. 1155 lines up with the solar plexus. 1144 hertz lines up at the heart. This is the most electromagnetic part of, this is the most electromagnetic organ of the body. I channeled this 1144 hertz frequency the same day that I channeled the 181 on 5/19 of 2022. So we're channeling the most electromagnetic force. The 181 sigil is the electromagnetic color spectrum sigil. So 5/19, that's the day that Walter Russell was born. He died on 5/19. He wrote a book, The Secret of Light. He believed that light was consciousness. Plasma. It's conscious. So counting in increments of 11. When we got to 1177, we started to go back up. So if you could imagine, this is like the side view of this digid pillar. So see how he's facing forward. So these are your little mini toruses digesting the photon. The gematria for ion is 99. 1111 divided by 99 equals 1122. 1122 divided by 99 ions equals 1133. 1133 divided by 99 equals 1144. 1111 divided by photon absorption, your golden angle, 137.5, equals 808. The gematria for ionization. What's ionization? That's the energy necessary to separate an electron from an atom through ionization when we're absorbing photons. And that's exactly what we're doing. Our hypothalamus chamber, we're secreting serotonin during the day, melatonin at night. Oxytocin is stimulating our nitric oxide, and that's our love hormone. And whenever you're doing your breath work, breathing through your nostrils and humming, you're releasing nitric oxide, and that's working with your body's bicarbonate, and that's being secreted in your pancreas, and your kidneys absorb it and resecrete it out to where you're not pissing out all your bicarbonates, and that's an electrolyte. We're down here with the cube, your salts. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but we're going to get to that stuff because I've got all this stuff printed out and organized, and can finally put this stuff into words, because I had to work on this for over a year. It's been like since 2022. It's 2025. It's almost been 3 years of studying this thing. So let's get back to the calendar. Getting off track here. So yeah, 1177 plus 11 equals 1188. Here at the sacrum, what's crazy here is the Queen's Chamber in the pyramids of Giza. It measures 11.88 cubits, and the base of the pyramid measures 440 cubits, and they found residue of hydrochloric acid or sodium chloric acid think it's the next level above hydrochloric acid, but it's the same shit that's happening. Our enzymes are basically protease that's hydrochloric acid working with bicarbonate and creating carbonic acid and carbon dioxide. We're breathing out carbon dioxide because of our nitric oxide and bicarbonate. So our body's natural healer. So I'm gonna get back to that. I want to talk about that so bad that I'm trying to skip over this shit. So 1188, the Queen's Chamber, 11.88 cubits. That's what the Queen's Chamber measures. 440 cubits is the base of the pyramid. This is where our electrolytes. The date 311 lines up with 44 hertz. 311 mirrored and flipped is 113 in time. 73 minutes equals 113 in time. Or wait, did I just say that wrong? So the date 311 lines up with 44 hertz. 311 mirrored and flipped is 113. 73 minutes equals 113 in time, and 73 mirrored and flipped is L. And L is the square. Take away the E, it's a 90-degree square. And that's where the hexahedron lines up here at the sacrum, and this is where our electrolyte salts, bicarbonates, are being secreted by the kidneys. And unless you're in fight or flight mode and you're secreting cortisol from your adrenal glands that are on your kidneys. So here at the solar plexus, your pancreas is secreting enzymes that turn those proteins into amino acids. It's also secreting bicarbonate from your pancreas as well. So this is where oxidative phosphorylation happens, and we're turning our proteins into amino acids. So 1111, or 1188 plus 11 equals 1199. Here at the solar plexus, 1199 plus 11 equals 1210, plus 11 equals 1221, plus 11 equals 1232. And this thing, the calendar ends on 1231, so 1232 technically is 101, and that's what we're starting at, is the 101. I just don't have it written on this chart. So 101, 202, 303, 404. And the calendar can be written as 11 or 101, 22 or 202, 33 or 303, 44 or 404. So you get it? So we connected this thing to the calendar now, and 1221 hertz lined up with the winter solstice, 1221, here at the throat chakra with 741 hertz, when 741 minutes equals 1221 in time. The next date was 1210, lining up with 1210 hertz. And this is where it got kind of funky, because now the numbers weren't matching anymore. But these two were what led me to connect this to the calendar in the first place. It just was an idea, and I had no idea that I was going to lead down this rabbit hole of holy shit. So 1129 lines up with 1199 hertz, and this is the date that Resolution 181 was established. 181 days equals 5 months and 28 days, like 528 hertz. 55 million indigenous people were genocided because of European colonialism. The Indian Removal Act of 1830, on 528, your solar plexus. Your Fugitive Slave Act of 1850, when 185 minutes equals 305 in time, and 305 minutes equals 505 in time. So we have 3 major genocidal events, all connected to the solar plexus here, and that's just a whole nother fucking story. So this 1188 lines up with 1118, my birthday. 1177 lines up with the date 11/7. That's crazy, because the date 66 equals 157 days, and 117 minutes equals 157 in time, and 77 minutes equals 117 in time. And this thing's a fractal it's a fractal fuck. So the date 1166 or 1027 lined up with 1166 at the sacrum. 1016 lined up with 1155, and 1005 or 105 lined up with 1144 hertz. 924 lined up with 1133 hertz, and 927 lined up with 1122 hertz there. So what's crazy is 924 lining up with 1133 hertz. A year later, I'd find out that 77 years equals 924 months. 77 years equals 924 months, and 741 minutes equals 1221 in time. Let that sink in. So this is crazy. 1144 hertz plus 66 hertz equals 1210 hertz. 10.5 plus 66 days equals the date 1210. And this happens all through the calendar. 1155 hertz plus 44 hertz equals 1199 hertz. Those are the dates that line up with that. So 1016 plus 44 days equals 1129. And this happens through the whole shit. But I want to get back to this heart chakra synchronicity shit, because this shit's crazy. So 1144 hertz lines up with 10.5. 501 mirrors 10.5. 501 equals 121 days. That's the date that the Illuminati was founded on. 501. 501 in time equals 301 minutes, when 181 minutes equals 301 in time. So, let's see, what else? Yeah, so the date 10.5 lines up with 1144 hertz here. The date can be written as 10.5 or 10.005. So 10.05 minus 639 hertz equals 366, when 366 minutes equals 606 in time. 606 is lined up here at 639 hertz with the... Jesus. Yeah, this thing. Fuck. So you guys get the gist of this. I assume. So let me show you guys my birth chart here. Leo, mirrored and flipped. See how he holds the flower of life there? There's 61 circles in that flower of life. Leo the lion holds the spot in the sacred ancient flower of life. There's 61 circles on the flower of life. 370 minutes equals 610 in time. 37 genes in the mitochondrial genome, 13 of which create enzymes involved in oxidative phosphorylation. 61 circles in the flower of life, and 13 of the circles make up the fruit of life. My grandmother's birthday is on 6/1. 610 minutes equals 10:10 in time. My father's birthday is on 10:10. Date 610 equals 161 days. 161 plus 161 equals 322. I was born on the 322nd day on 11/18, lining up with 11/88 hertz. My son's birthday is on 1/22. 61 plus 61 equals 122. My grandmother's birthday was on 6/1, like 61 circles in the flower of life and all this shit. So here's the proof. You're like, oh, the fucking zero should be over here. That doesn't make sense, man. So 37 times 3 equals 111. 61 times 3 equals 183. 1830 in military time equals 1110 minutes. Proving this whole fucking thing. So yeah, my mother's birthday is on 6/14. It's the same day of Trump's birthday, unfortunately. 6/14 plus 6/14 equals 12/28, when 11/88 in time converts to 12/28. My birthday lines up with 11/88 hertz. 11/18 lines up with 11/88 hertz. The gematria for my mother's name equals 11/88 hertz. I was born from the Queen's Chamber. That's the number that lines up with the Queen's Chamber. I was born in Queen's Hospital, born from the Queen's Chamber. So let's zoom into the throat chakra here real quick. Actually, getting ahead of myself here, but I'm going to prepare the throat chakra. I'm going to go into that shit. Like I said, I'm just winging this video here. This is a good chart here. This is like the more like sigil aspect of taking apart the word Thoth. Thoth creates 5 sets of 11. He's showing us the halls of Amenti. There's L11. The L11th Fibonacci is 55. 5 sets of 11. 5 times 11 equals 55. So if we were to take apart the Kundalini into little pieces, we could have these symbols symbolizing the Kundalini, and these numbers are representing the value of these curved line spaces. Like Thoth said, to follow the curved lines, the circles, rather than the straight lines. So now let's incorporate the flower of life. 61 circles in the flower of life. Remember the whole Leo, lion, all that shit? So 61 minutes equals 101. If you were to stack two 101s on top of each other, it creates the 101. 610 days. Is that on here? I don't think so. So 610 days. 61 minutes equals 101. You stack those, it creates the 181. 610 days equals 1 year, 8 months, and 1 day. Like 181. So 555 lines up with 528 at the solar plexus on my digital chart. 550 days equals 18 months and 1 day, like 181. 181 days equals 5 months and 1 day, like 528 hertz, the precise center of the electromagnetic color spectrum. So, yeah, we got 19 circles in the flower of life. 190 weeks equals 1331 days, like 13, like 131, equaling 181 whenever you connect those two using sigil mathematics. So 19 days equals 5.19% of the year. That's the date that I channeled this thing, was on 5/19. That's what level of synchronicity we're dealing with this thing. Yeah, I got this right here, actually. So this is the symbol that I channeled. This was the 1144. The numbers got cut off from the printing place that I got this done at. But that should be 1144. 4 spaces and 2 circles. 1, 1, 4, 4. And that's how I came up with these 1144 monograms. And I channeled that 202 months and 20 days before I channeled the Thought to Jed Pillars, and that was on 8/8 equaling 220 days, when 22 days equals 520 hours, like 181 days equaling 5 months and 28 days. So the level of synchronicity here, it's alarming. It's fucking staggering. So channel the 1144 hertz monogram that lined up at the heart, the most electromagnetic organ in the body, on 5/19 of 2022. And yeah, there's that 19 circles in the flower of life, 190 weeks equals 1331 days, like your 1331 sigil here. 19 days equals 5.19% of the year, and I channeled this thing on 5/19. There's 61 circles in the flower of life, 110 days equals 1 year, 8 months, and 1 day, like the 181 sigil. So a week before this, on 5/9, where's this story at? Yeah, here we go. On 5/9 of 2022, 11 days before I channeled the 181, 11 days equals 3.01% of the year, 181 minutes equals 301 and 10. So 11 days before the channeling of the 181, I was researching the story of Romo slaying his twin brother Remo for the first time. My mother told me, you should research this story. The day before, she's telling me the story to research it, and I go to research it, and it's actually the day of the mockery of the twins sacrificing each other. So, but I also, that same day, I channeled that we're in the ninth harmonic of the photon belt, allowing us to glimpse the veil, living in a 44 hertz altered frequency. Like when you alter something, but with a turd frequency. So, solfeggio tone ray equals the note D equaling 9 hertz. The divine feminine frequency. 432 hertz, 4 plus 3 plus 2 equals 9 hertz. So, more man slays more ray. The etymology of Romo, Ro means man, Mo means more man slays more ray. What's ray? The ninth fucking solfeggio tone. So, the divine feminine gets slayed by the masculine, quite literally. So, to have channeled this on shit fucks me up. To have channeled this on the ninth harmonic, that we're in the ninth harmonic of the photon belt. 11 days later, channeling the 181 on the 139th day. The ninth harmonic is 99 fucking hertz. 99 minutes equals 139 in time. The level of fucking synchronicity. I channeled this 1144 hertz monogram with the 181. 1144 hertz minus 181 equals 963 fucking hertz. The ninth harmonic. I want to fucking scream this shit to the fucking world right now. Fuck everyone. I need a drink. I'm fucking dying here. Don't mind my mess. I've been living in my Jeep since 11/4/2023. Just filling up my water. I'm not peeing. All right. Oh my God. I'm just dying. All right. So yeah, channeled this ninth harmonic, and then the ninth harmonic is 99 hertz, 99 minutes equals 139 in time, and on the 139th day, 519, I channeled this 181 symbol here. And it's also the 383 monogram. It's fucking nuts is, watch this, where the fuck is this? Is this on here? Is it on here? No, it's not. So you're going to have to use your imagination. So when you count the whole year, 383 days equals the date 118. And 118 mirrors 811, and 811 minutes equals 1331 in time. We're in the mirror fucking sigil mathematics realm here. And so now it starts getting crazy. 19 circles in the flower of life, 190 days equals 1331 weeks. Or no, that's supposed to be 190 weeks equals 1331 days. I know I always make stupid little mistakes like this, so be wary of my stupid little mistakes. That once you fix them, it's still telling the truth, and it's not something built off of mistakes. But sometimes you'll find a mistake here and there that once you fix it, it will lead you to the truth. So yeah, 190 weeks equals 1331 days. When I channeled this on 519, 19 days equals 5.19% of the year. So 91 minutes equals 131 in time when 131 converts to 1331. So this number 91 lines up with the solar plexus. 550 minutes equals 910 in time. The date 55 equaling 126 days equaling, or 550 weeks equals 126 months, showing you the fractals of space-time, because that's like from 2012 to 2023. That's like 9 years of that same cycle fractaling. So the Pluto went retrograde in 2024 on 9/1. The last solar flash, the Carrington event, was on 9/1. That was the largest solar flash ever recorded in 1859. So this number 9/1, it's a pillar on the calendar system, and I've got the calendar all printed out on the same nice paper and finally all finished and organized to where I'm ready to present this thing. But it took a long time. It took me sacrificing myself and everything that I'd built before this to accomplish this. So yeah, this number 91 here, it separates equinoxes from solstices. From your fall equinox, 922, to your winter solstice, 1221 equals 91 days. 91, that number 91 lines up with 19 circles of the flower of life and this 1331, 181 sigil here. So your fall equinox plus 12 weeks and 6 days equals 1221. 55 equals 126 days. 550 minutes equals 910 in time. So 321 spring equinox to 621 summer solstice equals 3 months and 10 days when, let's see, 190 minutes equals 310 in time, and 910 minutes equals 310 in time converted from 1510 in time. So these numbers just, they keep popping up. Every single equinox separated from every solstice, you get these same numbers. From the spring equinox to summer solstice equals 13 weeks and 1 day, when 91 minutes equals 131. Where is that? 91 minutes equals 131, and 1331 converts to 131. Getting that sigil. This thing is space in between the notes of space-time. So see how 550 weeks equals 126 days. And also 910 lines up with 550 minutes. The date 55 equaling 126 days, equaling 17 weeks and 7 days, like 177. The date 77 here, this at the throat chakra, equals 177 days remain. From the lunar eclipse on 2010 to the lunar eclipse on 7/27 of 2010. That's supposed to be 2018. That's 2018. So 131 of 2018 to 7/27 of 2018 equals 177 days. I missed the date on that for some reason. from 5/26 of 2021, the full moon lunar eclipse plus 177 days equals 11/19 of 2021, the full moon lunar eclipse. From the solar eclipse on 6/10 of 2021 plus 177 days equals 12/4 of 2021, solar eclipse, new moon, and that's a new moon. So basically, 177 separates lunar eclipses from lunar eclipses and solar eclipses from solar eclipses, and that lines up with the solar plexus 5/5 and 126 days and that number 9/10 lining up. So these numbers of space-time, they all fractal and they correspond. So 5/5 lines up with 528 hertz. So I know let's see if I can pull this off without the date. 2018 full moon. The date that I missed there to the lunar eclipse on 8/11. Trying to remember that date. I can just, so that's 131 and that's 7/27. That had to have been like two something. Sometime in February, the full moon lunar eclipse. So the lunar eclipse is basically separated by 4 months and 28 days, and that 4 months and 28 days equals the date 5/28. 5/5 lines up with 5/28. So it's like the solar plexus. The numbers of the solar plexus and the chi are in the cycles of time when the planets are when the planets are having major events. You're seeing these numbers pop up, and that 5/28, 181 days equals 5 months and 28 days. 550 days equals 18 months and 1 day, and 5/5 lines up with 5/28 at the solar plexus. So let's see. Here is a zoomed in version of, let's see, how the platonics, when we involve the platonic solids that lined up 720 degrees, your tetrahedron lined up here at the roots, your hexahedron, your cube, L, 2160 lined up here at 44 hertz. 311 and 310 both line up with 44 hertz here on the actual calendar cipher. The circle, the sun, lined up with the solar plexus because we're here at the solar plexus. That was the one platonic solid that didn't get a platonic solid. It got the circle, and so 720 times 3 equals 2160. 2160 times 4 equals 8640. That's a typo. That should be 8640. Little mistakes that I make. I just want to bitch slap myself sometimes. So yeah, the date 720 lines up with 201 days, equaling 770 hertz on leap year in my calendar cipher system, when 121 minutes equals 201 in time. 121 lines up at the heart chakra, and 77 lines up at the throat. So these things just like keeps intertwining. 1177 hertz here at the heart, at the root chakra, with 396 and 330 hertz and 303 hertz. 1177, and the tetrahedron 720. So watch this. 101 plus 3 months and 10 days equals 11/7. 11/7 equals 311 days. 910 minutes equals 310 in time. 9 months and 1 day equals 6,600 hours, like 66 lining up at the heart. 91 months equals 7 years and 7 months, like 77 at the throat chakra. 6 equals 157 days. 117 minutes equals 157 in time. 177 minutes equals 177 in time. Where did I write that down here? I did not. So this thing like intertwines and fractalizes. Let's see. I'm just kind of blasting through this thing. So here's another version of this. 7 years, 7 months, we're at the throat chakra, equals 91 months, equaling 396 weeks. 396 hertz lines up here at the root chakra. 91 months equals 396 weeks. 9 months and 1 day equals 396,000 seconds. 396 hertz lines up with 303 and 330 hertz. So the date 9/1 equals 244 days, when 244 minutes equals 404 in time, lining up with the sacrum here at 404. 550 minutes equals 910 in time, lining up with 550 hertz. So this number 91 is what separates equinoxes and solstices major number of broken space-time, and just the cycles of seasons and equinoxes and solstices. 9 months in one day equals 6,600 hours, lining up with 660 hertz here at the heart chakra. Layer upon layer. So the platonic solid, the dodecahedron, lines up with the heart chakra. Your heart ether, your DNA is dodecahedron shaped. 6,400 or 648 days equals 19 months, equaling 21 weeks and 1 day. 131 minutes equals 211 in time. Your 47th prime equals 211. Your 47th prime. So we're here at the heart chakra. That summer solstice lines up here because Cancer lines up here in summer solstice. That's the longest day of sunlight when the sun transits the sign of Cancer sitting at 90 degrees. And 621 divided by 90 degrees equals 6.9, the sigil symbol of Cancer. 690 minus 69 equals 621, summer solstice. Summer solstice lines up here at the heart chakra, the most electromagnetic organ of the body. We're talking about the longest day of sunlight and the most electromagnetic part of the most electromagnetic organ in the body, the longest day of sunlight, lining up with here. You guys catching that? And for 1210 to equal 345 days, like your Pythagorean right triangle, 345 plus 345 equals 690. 690 minus 690 equals 621 summer solstice. 621 summer solstice divided by 90 degrees square, that's where Cancer sits, equals 69. Sign of Cancer. Summer solstice equals 172 to 173 days, when 172 plus 173 equals 345. 1210 lines up with 345 days. We're here at the center. This is 0 point. Fermionic vacuum, heart ether, 648 days equals 19 months, equaling 21 weeks in 1 day, like 211. 131 minutes equals 211. 91 months or 91 minutes equals 131 in time. So for your 47th prime being 211, from your Tropic of Cancer, summer solstice, the longest day of sunlight, 621, the sun's shining sunlight over the Tropic of Cancer, the Earth is tilted at 23.5 degrees, and then you go all the way to winter solstice, the longest day of nighttime. The Earth is tilted the complete opposite direction at 23.5 degrees, with the sun now shining on the Tropic of Capricorn, when 23.5 degrees plus 23.5 degrees equals 47 degrees. So the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn are separated by 47 degrees. 470 degrees lines up with summer solstice 621, the longest day of sunlight on my calendar cipher system here. So for these numbers to line up here like that, it's pretty fascinating. So let's see. 101 to 404 equals 3 months and 3 days. 303 plus 101 equals 404. 55, let's see. From 101 to 202 equals 33 days. 22, 33, the digit pillars. Let's see. Yeah, from the solar eclipse on 420 plus 177 days equals 1014, the solar eclipse. 55, the full moon lunar eclipse on 1028 to the full moon lunar eclipse. 55 moon, from 55, the full moon lunar eclipse to the full moon lunar eclipse on 1028 equals 177 days. The date 55 equals 17 weeks and 7 days. It's the solar plexus cycle of the planets. Going backwards, we're adding. So, four to 5 equals 1 month and 1 day, like 1 4 plus 1 equals 5. But 1 month and 1 day equals 31 days, like 91. That number 91, 910 minutes equals 310 in time. From 4 to 6 equals 9 weeks and 1 day, like that number 91. 3 to 5 equals 9 weeks and 1 day. Let's see. So, just basically showing you folks how these cycles work here through the digit pillar connected to the calendar system, and how it's just super symmetrical and connecting frequency with time. Yeah, so 17 weeks and 7 days equals 4 months and 4 days. 5 equals 17 weeks and 7 days. And 5 lines up with 910, and that's a major number in the number that separates solstices from equinoxes. So we're going through the Jed Pillar calendar system here. So 101 plus 17 weeks and 7 days equals 505. 101 plus 404 equals 505. Remember, 17 weeks and 7 days equals 4 months and 4 days. So 202 plus 17 weeks and 7 days equals 606. 202 plus 404 equals 606. 303 plus 17 weeks and 7 days equals the date 707, when 303 plus 404 equals 707. You guys seeing how this mathematics works now? It's fairly simple. Once you see all, like, I had to gather all this data and put all these stupid emojis and have everything completely organized before anybody else could see this shit, because there's no way that anybody could explain this and somebody's imagination putting all this shit together without somebody actually putting it all together. So let's see where we're at here. This is your summer solstice. I was explaining how when the sun transits the sign of Cancer on summer solstice 621, the longest day of sunlight. So this is the panoramic view of the horizon. If you can imagine, this is the eastern horizon, and this is the western horizon. This is where the sun rises, and this is where the sun is directly above your head if you're to be standing there on the ground right here, 180 degrees ground, flat ground, and then the sun sets on the western horizon. So if you were to watch the star constellations rise up, I should have put Cancer as the constellation instead of Scorpio. I don't know why I did that. So if you were to imagine the constellations rising up from the eastern horizon, if you were to pay attention to the stars that are on the right and on the bottom, whenever they get to this 90-degree mark that's directly above you, once they cross over this mark, once they cross this 90-degree masculine in the fucking ether here, all the stars that were on the right and on the bottom, they're now on the left and on the top, nosediving towards the western horizon. So everything literally mirrors and flips. There's this mirror in the fucking ether. So you can imagine the sound of the sun is 126 hertz. 1 plus 6 plus 2 equals 9. So the sun resonates at 9 hertz. We're digesting ions, 99 hertz. Right? So if the sun was to rise and the 9 was on its backside, by the time it gets to here, it's right side up, and the 6 mirrored and flipped. It's like the copycat of the original 9 at this 90-degree masculine. So that's why the Freemasons worship this 90-degree square, and the 6th letter or the 6th note in music, solfeggio tone, is La. That represents the note A. L-A, La, that's the Freemason compass and square. And the alphabet, A and L, this is all about them using this knowledge of how the universe works and this mathematic system. And this is why you never hear the story about the sun transiting the sign of Cancer, sitting at 90 degrees square on summer solstice 621, when 621 divided by 90 degrees square equals 6.9. 690 minus 69 equals 621. Summer solstice, your longest day of sunlight, 621. 1221 plus 183 days equals 621. Mirror 183, 381 minutes equals 1221 in time. So the fact that nobody talks about this story here is fucking mind-boggling to me. So let's see. People always ask me, well, what are these charts for, Paul? What are these charts for? What are we supposed to do with this? Hold on. Let me get this situated here. So, this is the Third Eye Audio zoomed in platonic solids that we have. Tetrahedron for the root, hexahedron for the sacrum, solar plexus, we have the sun, dodecahedron, ether, at the heart, spirit, icosahedron, water, we breathe vapor, go breathe on a window and wipe off the vapor, you breathe water. We create water. We are 75% water, but icosahedron water lines up at the throat, and the octahedron lines up at the third eye audio with 88. Thoth, octahedron, octo means 8. Octopus has 8 arms. Take apart 88. It's 4 circles. 4 circles times 360 equals 1440. Yeah, so here, the crown here, we're digesting photon absorption, 137.5 divided by into 1111, your crown, equals 808. Ionization, the geometry for ionization equals 808. The geometry for electron equals 303. 1111 minus 303 equals 808. Earth-Moon ratio, 1111 divided by 303, it's the same as the Earth-Moon ratio, 7,920 divided by 2160. The Earth's diameter divided by the Moon's diameter is the Earth-Moon ratio. So, let's see here. Oh yeah, so Mercury, Thoth, the symbol that lined up here was the Taurus, and that's the same symbol as Mercury. It's the same symbol for Thoth. Thoth represents the planet Mercury. It takes the planet Mercury 88 days to travel annually around the sun, and I channeled the Lords of the Nine, Thoth's Dead Pillars, on 8-8, and I also channeled the ninth harmonic on 5-9 when it takes the planet Mercury 59 Earth days to make one full rotation and 88 days to travel annually around the sun. Yeah. Oh yeah. So, and Mercury is also a liquid antenna. And what do antennas do? It's a device that converts electrons into photons and vice versa. Photons into electrons. And what are we doing? We're absorbing electrons. What is ionization? It's the energy necessary to separate an electron from a fucking atom. And our hypothalamus gland secretes proteins. Those proteins carry electrons. Those electrons are photon carriers. And our proteins are piezoelectric. So, there's 88 keys on a piano. So the second harmonic is 2 sound waves. So 44 hertz is the first harmonic, 1 wave. The second harmonic of 44 hertz is 88 hertz. See the harmonics for 40 hertz, that's the first, and 88 is the second. Like the second harmonic being 2 waves, and when we mirror 2 waves, we get 88. So we're talking about sound waves. When we get to the root chakra here, we are on 33 hertz. The waves are going to be longer standing waves, just like the Schumann resonance. It's a very long standing wave. More space in between the notes versus when you get up here in your higher consciousness, the waves are less spaced, where it's like the sound of a cricket, a high pitch versus the sound of a frog. Here at the root chakra, and it makes sense why Elon Musk changed his name to that frog god, because he represents this lower frequency area here. So where am I at here? I did not prep for this. I'm just going all over the place here. So here at the sacrum, we have 44 hertz. the cube, L. There's Thor's rune. It's a square. The rune for your third letter, C, and the rune for the 11th letter, K, your 11th letter, K. It's a square. It's L. You just turn that thing like 45 degrees, and that's the rune for C and K, your third and 11th letter. Flip that upside down. That's 11:3. 73 minutes equals 1:13 in time. Like 11:3 and 1:13 mirrored and flipped is 3:11. Pretty neat, huh? And this is where we are secreting bicarbonate through our kidneys, right here at our sacrum. And those are salt crystals back there. Electrolyte salts. Whenever bicarbonate dries up, it crystallizes into little hexahedrons. L. That's a fucking square. Take away the E, it's still L. That's 90 degrees square. L equals L equals L equals the square here, the cube that's lined up here at hexahedron. Sorry if I sound like an asshole, but this shit's been pent up in me for too fucking long. So Ra, Amun Ra, wearing that Mitre hat. Radium. That's the decay of uranium. This shit's super fucking toxic. Just like thorium. Super toxic. Very toxic. This shit degenerates your cells and causes oxidative stress and fucks up your DNA. So they spray this shit in the sky, just like your barium and uranium's from nuclear fission. All your nuclear power plants are creating their electricity through splitting the atom. It's super easy to split. And yeah, Ra, that's the symbol for radium. So for the people that are touting on Ra, this is what this is all about. This is the L eats your adoption of the Confederate States Constitution on 3/11. 9/11 minutes equals 3:11 in time. The Jewish Colonization Association of 9/11 of 1891. Your adoption of Confederate States Constitution on 3/11 of 1861. But these are victories for Jesuit slaveholders. So 3/11 equals 182 days after 9/11, when 182 days, like the Missouri Compromise of 1820, 182, 1820, that was another victory for Jesuit slaveholders. So this area is being fucking colonized. And all the bullshit sodium bicarbonate that they put in all the bottled water, that's made from sodium, like the sodium ash process, to where sort of artificial bicarbonate bullshit. And so your sacrum, that's where we're secreting the bicarbonate to the kidneys if you're doing your breath work and your shadow work and meditating and all that shit. But if you're in time of stress, your body's releasing cortisol, your fight or flight. And we've evolved from being in survival mode, and a lot of us we have this generational trauma where we just get triggered and feel anxiety when somebody says something. It enters the solar plexus area versus entering your crown and digesting oxytocin that's simulating your nitric oxide and all that shit. So 528 hertz, your solar plexus here. That's the bridge out. That's the 12th harmonic at 440 hertz. It's the bridge out into 432 hertz. If you know about that shit. 520 hertz significantly decreases cortisol levels and increases oxytocin, your love hormone that's in your hypothalamus chamber. A hormone associated with positive feelings, leading to an overall stress reduction. In comparison to music at standard 440 hertz, it did not produce these changes because 44 hertz, that's in the sacrum where you're secreting your cortisol. And that goes, you end up using that to fuel your oxidative phosphorylation, and that is going up into your heart, and your heart's feeling like shit. So nitric oxide, whenever we do our breath work, oxytocin stimulates the release of nitric oxide. So nitric oxide inhibits mitochondrial respiration, ATP production. That's what's involved in oxidative phosphorylation. So the V5 complex, we have a 5-star mitochondrial matrix membrane. So if you can imagine, it has a feminine and a masculine part that's sucking in the hydrogen ions, and it's pumping out the charged protons on the other side. So this 5-star mitochondrial matrix, 5 on the inside, 5 on the outside. That's 55 lined up here at the solar plexus. There's 37 genes of the mitochondrial genome. Leo the lion lines up here at the solar plexus. Leo spelled upside down is 037. 370 minutes equals 610 in time. So the whole 37 genes of the mitochondrial genome involved in oxidative phosphorylation. So the fact that Leo lines up here and there's 37 genes of the mitochondrial genome, and Leo spelled upside down is 037, and there's 37 genes of the mitochondrial genome. You can't read that, that's way too small. So anyways, let's see here. Next slide here. So remember how I said there's the Queen's chamber measures 1188 cubits at the sacrum here at 444 hertz. The base of the pyramid measures 440 cubits. They found hydrochloric acid and zinc in the Queen's chamber of the pyramids of Giza. Zinc is an electrolyte metal, just like bicarbonate and just like uranium, barium, and aluminum salts. All that shit that they spray and put in all those things that they want to put inside of us. So yeah, when we're stimulating our oxytocin in our hypothalamus from 528 hertz and releasing our, this was the slide I was looking for right here. Releasing that nitric oxide. So the nitric oxide is some serious shit that we produce. We accumulate this by go out in the sun, go get some sun, and you're gonna store up on your body's natural nitric oxide, and you release this through doing breath work through your nostrils and humming and contracting your diaphragm. And a really good food that's the best, I think it's the best source of nitric oxide, is just raw beets or juicing beets. Look at the beet, it's shaped like a fucking heart. Nitric oxide is released in your endothelium, and your endothelium is the thin membrane that lines the inside of your heart and your blood vessels. Endothelial cells release a substance that controls vascular relaxation and contraction, as well as enzymes that control blood clotting and immune function. And yeah, so oxytocin stimulates nitric oxide that's in your hypothalamus. Nitric oxide helps lower blood pressure, and it's a vasodilator to all of your blood vessels, your everything. It helps you pee better, helps you give birth that much easier when you're doing your Lamaze breathing. And so yeah, nitric oxide is so phagocytes such as microphages and such monocytes produce nitric oxide as part of the body's immune response. Nitric oxide is toxic to bacteria. It's toxic to parasites. You guys don't need to be putting anything in your body, but go out in the sun and breathe through your nose and start meditating. It literally fucking heals you. Nitric oxide kills tumor cells, bacteria, and parasites. Crazy. So bicarbonate basically works with your nitric oxide because it increases ATP production. That's what's happening with oxidative phosphorylation, adenosine triphosphate. So ions, we absorb ions through plasma. the sun. An ion is an atom or group of atoms that has an electrical charge. Ions with a positive charge are called cations. Ions with a negative charge are called anions. Many normal substances exist in the body as ions. Common examples include sodium, potassium, calcium chloride, and bicarbonate. Bicarbonate is partially reabsorbed passively following sodium reabsorption. It is also reabsorbed by buffering hydrogen ions within the renal tubule. Hydrogen ions react with bicarbonate to form carbonic acid. So it's body's natural pH balance. So it's fucking baking soda. So whenever you're adding bicarbonate to your bread mix, it's sodium bicarbonate. While a crystalline powder that is naturally alkaline, baking soda becomes activated when it combines with an acidic ingredient and liquid. Upon activation, carbon dioxide is produced, like we breathe out carbon dioxide when our blood is pushing the bicarbonate through and pushing out the carbon dioxide. We breathe out that shit. So it allows the baked goods to rise and become light and fluffy. Would you look at that? And the Egyptian hieroglyph for bread is the sun rising, the letter D, like the note Re, like the sun gives off vitamin D's and sun rays, and note D equals 9 hertz, and 9 hertz rises with, see how 9 hertz rises, motherfuckers? So this is the hieroglyph for the letter T, the hieroglyph for the word bread. The T, that's the horizon and the path of the sun. So that represents your T ions. This what forms basically collaborations. Like you're adding this to a word, it turns a word into like a noun or some shit. Yeah, so ion transport. Bicarbonate is used by ion transporters to move ions and organic substances across cell membranes, like your mitochondrial membrane and your solar plexus. So in many events, the sun emits enormous numbers of lower energy ions with no more than 10 MeV, million electron volts. So electrolytes are ionic compounds. Acids and bases produce ions in water and are classified as electrolytes, substances that produce electrical charges. You guys already saw that. So yeah, that we're talking about, let's see, electrolytes. L, 311 lines up with 44 hertz. 311 mirrored and flipped is 11.3. 73 minutes equals 113 in time. 73 mirrored and flipped is L. This is where we have electrolyte salts. Hexahedron. When bicarbonate dries up, it's little fucking salt cubes. So when we have our bicarbonate, that's the fuel of oxidative phosphorylation. Our inner sun is rising in our solar plexus. That's your solar plexus. Your bread is rising. Your dough. Dough's rays on me. So, and yeah, we are liquid crystal. Examples of liquid crystal exist naturally in the world with technological applications. Lyotropic crystals around the living systems. Many proteins and cell membranes. Proteins and cell membranes are liquid crystal, like the proteins that your hypothalamus gland secretes, like your serotonin, melatonin, oxytocin, auxiliary in, ox out. Fucking A, man. Yeah, your ox in, ox out, auxiliary in, auxiliary out. This is where oxytocin is stimulating nitric oxide, and those proteins are liquid crystal, and liquid crystal is piezoelectric. So Uses of bicarbonate are in cleaning products and liquid crystal lyotropics can be made into soap and various related detergents. Piezoelectricity that stems from non-central symmetric crystal structures as is an intrinsic property of most bipolymers, including proteins and polysaccharides. Piezoelectric behavior has been observed in a variety of biological systems, including calcified and connective tissue in plants, teeth, bones, your hair, your glands, your DNA, your proteins. So, bicarbonate activated works within the mitochondrial matrix. That's in your solar plexus, kids. It's the fuel, your electrolyte fuel for oxidative phosphorylation. Yeah, you already saw that. Blood brings bicarbonate to your lungs and then is exhaled as carbon dioxide. Your kidneys also help regulate bicarbonate by reabsorbing it and secreting it so you're not pissing all that shit out. So, which organ produces the most electricity? The cardiac conduction system, your heart. Your DNA, variation of the following electrical current through DNA concerning the applied force confirms the piezoelectric property of DNA. Piezoelectric crystals vibrate at 32,768 beats per second. That's when sound ends in the human ear and ultrasonic acoustic waves begin connecting to the DNA. Just like 528 hertz, that's the precise center of the electromagnetic color spectrum connected to the sound system of your inner verse. One feature of DNA is that it makes liquid crystals. The single strands are very flexible, but if they duplex and pair, then you get stiff molecules, and if you increase the concentration, then these things form liquid crystal phases. Piezoelectricity, the electrical charge that accumulates in certain solid materials such as crystals, certain ceramics, and biological matter such as bone, DNA, and various proteins in response to applied mechanical stress. It's like the piezoelectric effect. Rub your eyes. Your eyes are liquid crystal. They're flesh crystals. Close your eyes and rub those things. You're going to get the piezoelectric effect. You're going to start to see interference patterns. You're going to see light without light entering your eye. That's called the piezoelectric effect. Those are called phosphines, like oxidative phosphorylation. So due to the charged backbone and complex structure of DNA is an ionic polyelectrolyte. DNA is an anionic polyelectrolyte with high molecular weight in which counterions can move freely. Electrolyte solutions can also result from the dissolution of some biological or synthetic polymers. So, yeah, this is what's fueling your 528 hertz, your electromagnetic, your inner solar plexus. Leo the lion lines up here at 528 hertz. 37 genes in the mitochondrial matrix. Electron tunneling equation. This is the same as the electron charge equation. Phi, 1.6 times 10 to the negative 19 power. 10 to the negative 19 power, that just means negative ground. 10 times negative 19 equals negative 180 degrees, which is your negative ground. You got to have a negative, you got to plug the negative ground to complete the charge. So for your electron tunneling potential, we're tunneling electrons and photons through this system here. 1.6 times 10 to the negative 19 power to equal 288 hertz. That equals Re equaling 9 hertz. Your solfeggio tone Re, your ninth note. Note D, vitamin D, sun rays. And for 101 plus 288 days to equal 1016, and 1016 lines up here at 1155 hertz. That's just too fucking much. So, let's see where I'm at here. Fucking all over the place. apologized here, kids. I apologize. Oh, sweet. There they are. That's what I was looking for here. Alrighty. So when we zoom in to the throat chakra here at 707, we're going to zoom into the throat chakra here and get into some calendar dates. I know I'm just kind of jumping all over the place with this video, and yeah, it's raining. It was snowing out here. I'm in Sedona, just sitting in this parking lot and working on this project, just trying to get everything dialed in and organized to where I can do these presentations and have a little fun doing them versus flailing and sucking, which is what I was doing whenever I was trying to explain this as I was building this, which was pretty stupid. So we're here at the throat chakra, 77, mirror the sevens, you get the Gemini. The Gemini lines up here at the throat chakra. Taurus is at the 88, Gemini here at the throat, 69, Cancer at the heart. So the twins, we have twin triangular enfoldings that create the vibration whenever we breathe in air, and we use that air to speak. The speed of sound is 3.43 meters per second, when 7 times 7 times 7 equals 343. And yeah, the date that lined up with 1133 hertz being 924, and the date that lined up with 1221 hertz was obviously 1221, the winter solstice. And this was here at 741 hertz, the throat chakra, 741 minutes equals 1221 in time. And we're here at 741 lined up with 77, when 77 years equals 924 months. So, let's see here. From 77 plus 177, no wait, 77 equals 177 days remain. From 77 plus 177 days equals 101. Yeah, 177 days remain. So let's see here. I'm getting this chart printed out today where I'm zooming into just this equation. So I'm going to save that for later. So from the end of the Mayan calendar, ending on 12/21, your winter solstice that lines up here at the throat chakra here, the end of time, the prophecy of the end of time, 12/21 of 2012, the Mayan calendar, end of prophecy of time. It's a 7/7 of 2023. 7/7 of 2023 lines up here at the throat chakra with 12/21. That equals 92,400 hours, like 924 lining up with 1133 hertz. It equals 550 weeks, equaling 126 months, when the date 55 equals 126 days on leap year. 126 days equals 17 weeks and 7 days, like 177, like the date 7/7, equaling 177 days remain. So the date 7/7 lines up with 630 hertz on my calendar cipher system. The date 6/3 equals 154 days, 177 plus 77 equals 154. So whenever we get to the date 3/18, that equals 77 days. We're here at the 7th chakra. If we were to add all 7 chakras, starting from the lowest chakra, 174 plus 285 plus 396 plus 417 plus 528 plus 639 plus 741, it equals 3180. Like 77 days lining up with 318. Now when we add 7 chakras, starting from the top, 963 plus 852 plus 741 plus 639 plus 528 plus 417 plus 396, it equals 4536. When the date 7/7, where is that? The date 7/7 equals 4536 hours, equaling 189 days. So the 7/7 lines up with 630 hertz. 63 times 3 equals 189. But yeah, this to add up all 7 chakras, and 7 mirrored is 77, and we're adding these, and we're getting that number, and the date 7/7 equals 4536 hours. I mean, get the fuck out of here. So if we were to divide this by 7 chakras, you get the number 648. That's the dimensions of the dodecahedron. Our DNA is dodecahedron shaped. So in essence, I feel like this is all being put back together. Like we absorb the plasma through our eyeballs, and it's separated into these 7 tones and these 7 rays. And when we put them back together, it equals this. So I consider that to be white light. So white light, and we're dividing that by 7 rays and getting your liquid crystal, which if we add your white light into our crystal, you get the number of light refraction, 5184. That's the angle needed to perceive light refraction built into the slope of the pyramids of Giza. There's 72 pendulum swings per 60 seconds on the clock. 72 times 72 equals 5184. 720 minus 72 equals 648, like your heart dodecahedron DNA there. So yeah, whenever light passes through a crystal, it separates into 7 rays. 7 rays mirrored equals 14. So 72 pendulum swings per 60 seconds times your 7 rays mirrored, 14, equals 1008. We're in the realm of reflection and the mere reflection of time. 1008 hours divided by 24 hours in a day equals 42 days, mirroring 24. 432 hertz times 12 notes in music equals 5184. The angle needed to receive light refraction. 4032 hertz times 432 hertz squared equals 186,624. The speed of light. So, let's see what else we got here. Yeah, the date that, if you look at the Last Supper painting, it looks like 111 hertz. The holy frequency is back there. The longest day of darkness is 1221, your winter solstice. 111 plus 1110 equals 1221. So he was crucified on 4/3, equaling 3 months and 3 days. Let's see, here we go. Yeah, he was crucified on 4/3, equaling 3 months and 3 days at age 33 in 33 AD. 330 plus 330 equals 7 o'clock. 7 mirrored is 7/7. The date 7/7 equals 6 months and 7 days. The date 4/3 equals 67 hertz on my calendar cipher system, when 670 minutes equals 11:10 in time. There we go. So the Last Supper was on 4/2, the 42nd prime number being 181. The dimensions of the Leonardo da Vinci's Last Supper painting being 346 inches by 181 inches in height. So at the Last Supper being on 4/2, when the date 420 equals 111 days, like 111. Your longest day of darkness, 1221. 111 plus 1110 equals 1221. Where do we bury our dead? Underground, in burial mounds. The Hypogeum Temple of Malta. Is this on here? Yeah, the Hypogeum Temple of Malta resonates at 111 hertz. The Cairns Burial Mounds resonates at 111 hertz. That's where we bury our dead. What happens when we go underground? It's dark, just like the longest day of darkness, 1221. 111 plus 110 equals 1221. That's the date that Horus died and was resurrected on Christmas Day. So Christmas Day on leap year equals 8640 hours, like the diameter of the sun, 864,000 miles. So yeah, so for him to be crucified on 4/3, and that equals 67 hertz on my calendar cipher, and 6 months and 7 days equals 7/7. The gematria for Christ being 7/7. The gematria for chemist, Thos named Dijahute, the Holy Trinity. So your bronchial tubes, that's an upside down version of your bronchial tube, but those tubes are going to your lungs, and that pipe is going to your throat, and that's what's creating the vibration whenever we speak out those twin triangular involvings here. That's your throat. So it's a liquid crystal technology. It has nothing to do with this person. It's all an allegory. 303, that's the root chakra. Where is that shit? Yeah, 303 is the root chakra. Your Indian move active 1830, 183 minutes equals 303 in time. So this is representing the thought seeds that we digest. They go off and die. The old version of ourself is dying off and sprouting into a new version of self. We're resurrecting into this new version of self. So All of this shit's like an allegory describing the thought seed and the calendar system. They're worshiping 396 and 417 and basically controlling the thought seed and the energy that's going into the solar plexus and everything that we're manifesting. They're controlling the language, they're controlling the narrative, the agriculture, the education, all that shit. So yeah, let's see, let's show you folks how this calendar cipher system works a little bit more too. So 1133 hertz throat chakra lined up with the date 924. We're here at 77, lined up with 741 hertz, the throat chakra. 1221, the date lined up with 1221 hertz. 741 minutes equals 1221 time. 177 years equals 924 months. So from 924 of 2020 to 1031 of 2023 equals 1133 days. Like 924 lining up with 1133. Equaling 3 years, 1 month, and 8 days. Like the date 318 equaling 77 days. So 924 of 2012 to 1017 of 2021 equals 11 days. Equaling 9 years and 24 months. Like 924 lining up with 1133, and 1133 mirrored is 3311. That one's crazy. So you guys already saw the Mayan calendar ended on 12/21 of 2012. The 7/7, these are the same frequencies that are lined up on the calendar, equals 92,400 hours. This is showing you the fractals of fucking space-time, and to have all this many dates doing this shit. So from the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction on 12/21 of 2020 to 9/24 of 2023 equals 1008 days, equaling 144 weeks. Remember, 7 crystal light passes through a crystal, separates into 7 rays, and 7 rays mirrored equals 7 plus 7 times 72 pendulum swings equals 1008. 1008 hours divided by 24 hours in a day equals 42 days. 42 mirrors 24. We're talking about all this mirror realm shit. So that's just some stuff from my actual journey. But yeah, this is the kind of shit that was happening through my journey from the day I arrived home from my first trip to Moab, which was on 5/8, to driving on the backside of Moab equals 813 days. From the second trip that I went to Moab on 9/15 to that same day going down to the backside of Moab equals 318 days, mirroring 813. 318, the date equals 77 days. So I'm going to do this one off of memory. So whenever I arrived home from the first time I came to Moab and I left the second time, so from 5/8 to 9/15 equals 1 year, 4 months, and 7 days, mirroring 741 hertz. And from my birthday 11/18 of 2015 to the date 3/18 of 2023 equals 7 years, 4 months, and 1 day. So this thing is fucking bananas. Like, I don't know what I got myself into with this thing, honestly. I might have just opened Pandora's box, and who knows what all this is for. Let's see if there's anything else. I want to show you guys, this is the calendar on steroids. This is massive organization right here. I don't even want to explain it. I just wanted to show you folks this. But yeah, I'm going to actually just end this and keep this about just the calendar. And I'm going to do a shit ton more lives because this is what I'm working with here. Let's see. These are all the slides that I've got printed out. So a massive amount of work to go over, and yeah, I've got over 100 slides, and been using my money that I could be using for food and gas on this mission to get all this stuff printed out so I can now teach it and go over it and hopefully get you folks on board with this knowledge. But have a beautiful day. It's Monday and it's Monday.